Good morning, Susan.
How are you, Amaryllis?
I'm great. It's a
Good.
great morning.
It's a great morning. I mean, I guess every morning's a great morning. It's all about
Yes.
perspective, right? So, lots of great things on store for today.
Yes, yes. Welcome everyone who's watching. Welcome to our show, Authentic Discussions. We are so happy to have you here this morning. So,
So,
Susan.
Series 1, Volume 1.
Yes.
Really kind of cool. So, we're kicking off the new year right. We are kicking off the new year pursuing our goals, our dreams, following our hearts. And
Yes.
yeah, authentic. So when we talk about authenticity, what is authenticity? What is authenticity? I mean, for me, it's alignment. It's about aligning um, who you really are deep on the inside with what you say and do out in the real world.
Mm.
It's about finding that true self, that truth within the self. So, what do you align with? What are you feeling, Amaryllis, about alignment, about authenticity?
As you said, this is not holding too much on the new year, but definitely new energy, right? And this year for me, I say I'm going to explore and I'm going to gather those around me and we are going to just get on a new journey. So, new energy, no setting goals, no expectations, right? Being authentic, getting back to what I love, which is community, being with you, talking, discussing things that are important to me and to you and to others, and helping somebody hopefully through these videos that are going to feel like, oh, wow, this message was just for me.
Right. So you said something really important. You said surrounding yourself with your community, right? So I think one of the most important things to understand is who our community is, right? So we have several
Yes.
different masks that we wear, we have several different roles that we play. But I think that it's really important to kind of feather out who is the community that supports my most authentic self. So we have our work community, we have our family community, and it's not always the same. It's not always the
Right.
same people, our community of friends. So, different people take on different roles based on the role that you're playing. So I think it's really important to identify, even if it's just that one or two people that support you irregardless, that support you in pursuing the things that your heart dreams about. Not that your head interferes with, but that your heart dreams about. Because we have enough of our own interference from our head. We get in our own way so much that we don't need the rest of the naysayers to join in.
Oh,
We keep
yes.
them at bay, but we know who the community is, and it's a very small community sometimes to start. You
Yeah.
know, who's your cheerleader?
Yes. Who's our cheerleaders and who are going to have, when you have an idea to just say, let's play.
Yes, yes, because there's no harm in playing, right?
Yes. Oh, we forgot about that though,
Yeah, we did.
right?
We did. Once we got to be 5, 6, 7, 8, and the rules started to become really
Yes.
strict, and the playtime became less and less, and the older we got, the less opportunity we had to play. And now we
Yes.
have to reacquaint ourselves with that childlike energy, with that joy, with that who we really are. We have to remember. We have to remember.
So that's it, is remembering. And I think for me personally, I don't know about you, Susan, but for me, it's this past year was a lot of remembering, and I was having a hard time having fun. I was
Mm,
having a hard time previous years too, just remembering what it is to play. And as a theater major, I played all the time.
right. Right. But then
But
you get
then,
stuck in a role
yeah, I got stuck in
or
the mommy
two
role or
or
the wife
three.
role. Yes. And then I forgot my authentic self.
Yeah, you get a little lost. It gets buried. It gets buried underneath the layers. And every once in a while we get a glimpse and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's what it's like."
Yeah,
But then we forget how to access that.
yeah.
So I think, speaking authentic truths, talking about, what it is that you love to people that are safe and hold space
Mhm.
for you, and, just allowing yourself to dream again, to have the ideas, to feel inspired, because we're fabulous. We're already fabulous. We're human beings created in the likeness of ourselves with our own gifts and talents, each and every one of us. We forget that it gets buried.
Oh, it does, does. So out of that, this beautiness that we're having right now is what was born, and we're just going for it. And I'm so, so excited. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yeah, and the coolest part is if we can go for it, everyone or anyone can go for it because what's holding you back?
Right. Well, because we have these expectations.
Mm.
And I
Attachment
think, ah,
to the outcome. We want to know
yes,
how it ends. And when
yes,
we want to know how it ends, we forget that the most important part about the ending is how we got there.
yes, this energy, this conversation. And then the rest, it will happen if it happens. And I don't have an expectation.
Yeah, whatever, wherever it goes.
Being in the moment.
If one person hears this and has a realization, right, then the work is done. Then the work is done. If more than one person has it and has the realization, the work is still done, right? So
Hmm.
it's not about um, what happens. It's about what's happening now. It's about the present moment. It's about awareness. It's even so much, Emerald, it's crazy to say, but it's even so much about the awareness of the fact that you're breathing and the fact that your heart is beating. And all of those things are miraculous in themselves. And
Yes.
then there's the fact that you have a physical body. Like we forget to take care of our vessel. We forget to nourish ourselves, emotionally and physically, spiritually. We nourish ourselves with the types of thinking that we have.
Yeah. And that's where the mentally goes in too.
That's right.
So
That's
there's the mind, the heart, and we just forget. So
Yes.
spiritually, also the spiritually part, and whatever that is for you.
Yeah. Well, is there something more? Is there something more divine? Is there something that's
Right.
happening, that's creating all of this opportunity? And are you seizing the opportunity? Are you seeing,
Yes.
not even seizing, seizing means you have to see it. Are you aware of all the opportunities that you have?
Hmm.
They're abundant. They're all around you. Opportunity is all around you. But if you are closed to it or you have blinders
Yes.
on, right, then you're not even seeing the opportunity, never mind seizing the opportunity. So, awareness first. Be
Awareness.
aware that you have a breath, you have a beating heart, that you have a physical body that is beautiful, that was created and designed for you with all of your gifts and talents.
And
Everything.
you remind me this every time we have our yoga class.
Mhm.
And I take that with me, and I love that we also have our Thursday meditation, which is 30 minutes. Where if I'm either, well, it's important for me to take the time for those 30 minutes because we think time is so much. And really, when you start looking at it and just taking the minute, commercial is 60 seconds, Susan.
That's right. That's right.
Sell you a car or
Yeah,
your dream in 60 seconds. And it didn't take 60 seconds to make.
right.
2 days, sometimes 3-day recording. And we don't know that, right? So we see this beautiful commercial about whatever it is, right? And it's so well made to just change our mind. But when we say, hey, take a 30-minute meditation class, you're like, whoa, I have to look at my schedule.
Yeah, yeah. And what's 30 minutes out of 7 days and 24 hours a day? Like, what is 30 minutes of self care? what is 30 minutes a day of self-care? So yeah, the yoga class on Sunday is an hour and meditation is 30 minutes. That's 90 minutes a week that you would have to carve out for yourself as a gift to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do that. And we
No,
can't do that.
sometimes we
Why?
can't.
Because we're caught up in we're caught up in the struggle. We're caught up
Mm-hmm.
in the rat race. We're caught up in keeping up. Keeping up with what? If we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're really not keeping up.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about now that everybody's on the new hype of New Year. We
Okay.
had a rough year. Some people had a really, you know, 2020 was not easy. So, Susan, what do we guide and tell people now that are setting goals, going to the gym? I'm going to change my diet. This is the year. This is my year. I've caught myself a couple of times saying, this is our year. And then I was like, well,
It's just
I
another
was
day.
blessed. I was blessed last year. My family didn't get sick. No one close to me. Thank God. There were other things, but really, I was blessed, right?
Yeah.
So,
So everybody had a different experience 2020.
yes,
So we
yeah,
can't even lump sum it.
no,
Some people really had breakdowns
yeah,
and other people had breakthroughs. So I think that it's really important to not feel guilty about your 2020 experience or feel shame about your 2020 experience. It's interesting in the whole perspective of things. Every year there's losses and gains. Every year there's
yes,
tragedies and mountains are climbed. So we get caught up in saying, okay, so from the ashes will rise. Not everybody was in ashes, but everybody is here today, right? So everybody
mhm,
has the opportunity today to start paying attention to what it is that's important to them, what makes your heart sing, what aspects of the things that do you really resonate with, do you love, right? So we take those into consideration and then we set intentions. So these resolutions that we send on January 1st, we set the resolution and we're going to do this are really setups for disappointment because a lot of times it's not really sustainable. Maybe you get through February, maybe you don't, you know what I
yes,
mean? But you have this idea that you're either a success or a failure, that it's tied to this thing that you decide is so super important. And then you focus all your energy on struggling to commit or maintain that resolution.
mm,
So your energy is being wasted in the struggle when simply to set an intention. So if it's about self-care or weight loss or feeling better, right? So let's just say we want to feel better. So my
mhm,
intention in this upcoming year is to do the things that make me feel better. Okay. Now, some examples of those things might be eat better, pay attention to my exercise schedule and routine, try
mhm,
some new things, go back to the old things that I love, right? So those are ideas of action steps under my intention. Okay.
okay,
But I'm not tying it to an outcome. I'm not tying it to if it's not 30 pounds, it's not successful. If it's not, you know what? So
yes,
the first of every month, I can ask myself, am I feeling better? Yeah, in some aspects of my life I might be, in others I might still need to do work. Hey, that's awareness. Let me set a new intention about that aspect of my life. So maybe I'm feeling really good in my personal life, but my work life, I'm on the struggle bus a little bit. So let me set an intention about my work life. So maybe I can't change where I work or what I
right,
do, but I can certainly change the attitude I bring. I can look at what it's offering me, what is it giving me, and if it's simply a paycheck, that's okay, right? Because there's gratitude for the paycheck that the work brings. And then if I'm not worried about or miserable about work because I've come to some resolve
right.
about
Some,
work,
yes,
then I can use my energy and my time instead of complaining about work to pick up a paintbrush, to take a walk in nature, to spend more time quality time, present moment time with my children, right? So,
Right.
those are the kinds of things about shifting your thinking. And that's by intention setting. That's not by hard, fast, resolute resolutions.
And what is the difference between setting an intention and if I want to set a goal?
So I think goals are necessary, right? So goals are,
Okay.
a little more specific, so I
Okay.
have a goal. So I have a goal that I want to achieve something in a certain amount of time, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 6 weeks.
Right.
So we set that goal. But again, setting the goal and not attaching it to the outcome, right? Not being so specific. So an intention is just is it's a little more generalized, right?
A little
But it's
softer.
yes, that's exactly the word. It's
Yes.
softer. So you can be kind and compassionate to yourself along the way. Where
Yes. I love it.
the goal is more driven, and it's good to have ideas, but yes, kind and compassionate along the way.
I mean, and let's just bring it back down to the basics of what we were taught in our livelihood. I think we get so lost when we become adults, but we go to school, right? That's our goal. We have to finish elementary school because then we're going to go to junior high school. But things happen. But one thing that doesn't change is the grades. We have good grades, we have bad grades, we have good times, we have teachers we don't like, lessons we learn throughout the time, right? But the goal end is that you're going to finish. And sometimes even when we get to high school, there is a little bit more independence, and you
Mhm.
realize that your dream maybe is not to go to college, but your family has this intention, that you need to go to college, and you have to remind yourself what spirit and what your goals are for you
That's right.
personally. Also, very careful with what others have for you as a set goal.
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of times we're living out others' dreams. But
Dreams, yes.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing that we have to be careful of too is, we do know what's right for us, but sometimes we allow fear to interfere,
Wow.
fear, interfere. So we allow fear to interfere with what we know. So I think that understanding who you are and how you respond to things will help you make clearer decisions, right? So that's why it's so important to take care of yourself. That's why the meditation piece is so important, because it really gives you an opportunity to check in with those things. So, you mentioned the college thing. Is it because I'm afraid of leaving home in the next step?
Right.
Or, is it because it's really not for me? And like those are things that are very internal, it's introspective to be able to be clear on that. And, I often say any question that you have, it's the heart that knows. And sometimes
Yes.
we have to try things. Sometimes we have to face the fear and go for it and realize, right? And other times, we have to say no and come back around to it. So I think, it's challenging because there's a lot of pressure from society, there's pressure from family, there's pressure from, family history.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just awareness though. The more we can become aware of knowing what aligns with us. So it's the alignment. It's when is my energy feeling most productive? When am I feeling most engaged, invigorated? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, that little spark that like lights you up,
Yeah, it's
and
important.
it's important. And even if it lights you up to, like you said, pick up a paintbrush. If that was your hobby and that was something that light you up, and I think a lot of people did get to find that during this 2020 pause. They had to figure out what
What
makes me.
can I do? What can I
Yes.
do to
And I
pass the
saw a
time?
lot of beautiful writings on Instagram this past year saying, I don't correct me, I can't remember something about how I figured out like not what I was missing, but what I had or I valued, like, during this pause, like I didn't have to go nowhere. I wasn't missing anything. I was
That's right.
blessed. Like all my blessings, I still have a house, or I can work from home. I don't have to commute and deal with the anger of traveling and traffic.
Yeah.
A lot of people were able to see that, and I'm so happy that they got to see that moment of pause.
Well, I think that, whether 2020 was extremely challenging for you and your family, or, whether it was, extremely rewarding,
Right.
nothing is one way or the other. So there were
No.
definitely, gains and positives and, things that grew, out of 2020. So we take those things, we have the awareness, and we take those things, and we don't fall back into the same habits and routines. We continue to to rise, to uplift others. Just kind of to go back, it's like, who is it that is your biggest cheerleader no matter what? And it may not be someone that you're
Mhm.
currently in dialogue with. It might be that you have to kind of take some risks and reach out and talk to people about your dreams out loud, and see who shows up for you.
Yes, yes, because sometimes it might not even be in your own home, but it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Because you do have at least one person or two that you know you can talk to, and they're not gonna like bog you down.
Right.
They're gonna just lift you because your success is their success.
Yeah. Well, and you also have yourself. And
Yes.
you can be your biggest cheerleader, right? But you have to continue to remind yourself to move beyond the negative seeds, the doubt, the
Oh,
insecurities, because you can do it. You can
yes.
do it. And whatever it is, right? You start moving in that direction, you might find that there's something that opens a totally different door for you that you didn't even know. That's why you don't attach to the outcomes. You start down
Yes.
the path, you start down the journey.
Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to check up on time since we can't see time here on our
Yeah.
beautiful call. How are we doing?
So we've got probably 3 or 4 minutes left. Just
No way. All this fun already over?
yeah, to kind of wrap up, and yeah,
Yes. And we will be back. So please come back to see other videos and other conversations with guests coming in.
yeah.
Um, I love this, you know?
Yeah. So really, on the recap, it's
Yes.
really about awareness. It's about awareness, paying attention to who you are, paying attention to what lights you up, and then looking at opportunities, and not just seeing the roadblocks or the blind spots, like look within each experience for an opportunity. What did that teach me? How do I
Yes.
figure out who I am and what I want to do? You start to look back at those monumentous experiences, whether you labeled them good or bad. They were
Hmm.
monumentous, they were life changing, experiences. And you start to say, okay, so what did I learn about this? What direction did this put me in? What kind of skills do I have? What kind of passions do I have? What am I good at? And when you start to just kind of like jot all of that stuff down, sometimes things become much clearer, much more apparent.
Yes. So the map is, you have your get set goal here, then you
Right.
set your intentions, and then it's going to go up and down, and around. And sometimes those doors close for a reason and we don't see it in that moment.
Right.
And that's when we have to come back to this, back to just centering ourselves and saying, I know there's a lesson in everything that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And the most authentic version of myself lives inside of me. So nothing outside
No.
is going to allow me access. I must clear the way in my thinking, in the way I take care of myself, in my physical body, in order to access that which lies within.
Yes. Yes. Thank
Perfect. So,
you.
yeah, if you want to join us for yoga or meditation, yoga on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., meditation, that's Eastern time. Meditation is Thursday evenings at 8 p.m.
It's
And then
free, guys.
yoga is $15 donation,
$15.
and
And yes, our meditation is
meditation
free.
is free. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so come
So
on, join us, You-
visit the website and, get yourself started, get yourself connected. So, all
One
right.
step at a time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, Amaryllis, you have a
Yes.
fabulous day.
You too. I love it. Have a
Tap,
good one.
tap into that authentic self. Thank you.
I already did.
It's there. It's there. It's already
It's
there.